Here.
Director Ledesma?
Here.
Thank you. All are present.
Thank you very much. We'll begin with the agenda with the first item, item 1A. That's presentations by members of the public on matters that are not on the agenda. Has there been any comments posted or anyone available to speak now?
Hi, so there are no comments received from the public beforehand, and I invite anyone to speak now regarding any matters not on the agenda.
Is hearing and seeing none. We'll move on to item 1B, which is a report out of closed session.
Good morning, Chair Ramos. The board met in closed session this morning at 8:30 on the three matters noticed on the closed session agenda and took no reportable action.
Thank you. Item 1C, our monthly and year-to-date review of revenue and expenses.
Hello again, board members and staff. I will be reporting out on the revenue and expenditures for the month of February 2022. In Fund 870, the balance started at approximately $9.19 million. The agency received a little over $200 in revenue. That's due to a few from special tax assessments. Expenditures were $20,000, making the ending position for Fund 870 be at $9.17 million. In Fund 871, the beginning balance was $3.66 million. The agency received $1.59 million from truing up quarters 38 through 40 with the state. Expenditures totaled $254,000, making the ending position for Fund 871 at $4.99 million. At the end of the month, the position was at $14.19 million. And as of April 11th, the agency's combined cash position was approximately $13.5 million. With nothing more to report, I invite the board to ask any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, thank you very much, Jen, for the report. We'll move on to the consent item agenda. And it has been requested by staff that we remove item 4 from the consent item and postpone it, or whatever the term is, till hopefully the meeting in May. So is there any action I need to do that, or we're just agreeing to pull it?
Please take a vote to cancel item 4.
Well,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to continue item 4 to a date.
I'll call it.
It's been first and seconded to continue item 4. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Director Ledesma?
Aye.
Vice Chair Alcala?
Aye.
Chair Ramos?
Aye.
Okay, so
Okay,
that motion
thank
carries.
you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to the remainder of the consent items, items 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Are there any questions or comments of any of those items? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as now presented.
So moved by Paula.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please take the roll on the consent agenda?
Director Ledesma?
Aye.
Vice Chair Alcala?
Aye.
Chair Ramos?
Aye.
Thank you. I got it.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on to our regular agenda and item 8A, which is the WSAFCA project update.
Good morning, Chair Ramos and members of the board. A few highlights since our last board meeting. Last week, Congresswoman Matsui was here with both district staff and staff from Washington, D.C. They came around to look at some of the earmark allocations, the trailhead, for instance, over at the end of Linden Road, that's going to connect to the Southport levee. Bright Park, for instance, and then Greg and I also talked a little bit about how happy we are about the new starts. That moves me into kind of the next agenda item. I don't know if you noticed, but President Biden released the budget, and West Sacramento is in there for $79.8 million in the 2023 budget. So that will really set things in motion in terms of having that kind of money in the construction budget, provided that it gets through Congress, the regular congressional appropriations process. But really good news for the project and the program. We are still moving forward. We're still waiting to hear about the Army Corps of Engineers work plan for 2022. We're hoping that there's another $17 million in there so that when it comes to going and constructing Yolo Bypass East Levee, we can do both segments through a single construction contract, just a lot more efficient than splitting it up. We've taken the necessary steps to split up the contract if necessary, following the Army Corps' lead. And we have money right now to construct one of the segments, as well as money to go into design for Sac River North. All right, so let's go into Sac River North. Staff met with BCI, our geotechnical contractor, met with the Army Corps of Engineers out in the field on two different occasions, both at the DWR yard and the Army Corps of Engineers yard, to identify a location for explorative boring to try to fill in the gap of some of the information about the levee up there. All of that work is being put together from, like I said, by Blackburn. They're compiling all the data. If we were leading this contract and they would be making design recommendations, in this particular case, they're collecting data, putting together all the data, and then they present it to the Army Corps of Engineers, who actually puts together the geotechnical basis of design. So right now we're just trying to work on filling in those gaps. The drilling project plan has been approved at the local level and is working its way up the chain. The type of borings that BCI is going to undertake require that the drilling plan get approved at headquarters. So even though there's very few explorations, it still has to go through this approval process. We're hoping that that's going to continue on its way. And we have boring scheduled to happen between May and June. One of the boring places, excuse me, will be on Rivercrest Drive in the rivers. We've identified a location where the city has some right of way, and where we're hoping to do the work. We put together a notice to alert nearby property owners that work is going to occur, and we anticipate that that'll go out in the next week. So just so that everybody's informed that there will be work happening between May and June, and it's nothing to be concerned about. They will be out there for 2 full days. There'll be a number of trucks, but the mobilization, demobilization will be done, like I said, within 2 days. And lastly, I'll just report briefly on Southport floodplain restoration. Maintenance activities are back in full swing. The irrigation system has been reconnected, and water is, even though we're having some of these rainstorms, the irrigation still needs to be used because of, there was quite a lapse of rainfall between February and March. So, like I said, everything's up and running and looking good. Are there any questions?
Questions, anyone? Well, Paul, thank you very much. Greg, is there anything else you want to add?
No, Paul's becoming a real pro at this. I appreciate all of his work. So he's doing a great job. Thanks, Paul.
Okay. Is there a new projected date on when that 2022 work plan will be presented? Or who knows?
The date
No.
we have is May 11th.
Yeah, that's the 6
Okay.
days from the passage of the appropriations bill. So that's, I think, the drop dead date. We're hoping it'll come out sooner, but we'll see.
Okay. Very good. Hopefully we'll see something there. So with that, I guess we will move on to item 8B, director's comments. Any comments from anyone? Then with that, we're on to 8C, which is adjournment. Thank you all for participating. See you next month.
Hey, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.